Evan Yaworski just became the first Canadian to win the title of World's Strongest Firefighter. The Saskatoon-born Yaworski advanced to the finals after placing first in the lightweight class and completed a total of 9 events over the 2-day competition.
I got posted to Winnipeg from Edmonton in 2024. Joined the military in 2017, so about 9 years now. I went to fire college on a whim because it seemed like something I could do. And once I got into the schooling and kind of learned more about the nuances of the job and had some guest instructors telling us like the reality of it, I thought it was pretty neat. And I never even thought about ARF firefighting, like aircraft rescue, until I saw the truck and I thought that'd be pretty sweet to drive. Then came across an advertisement for the military and I figured why not, and now I'm here. It balances out pretty well for the most part. When I'm on shift, we have a lot of time for exercise. So if I can't make it to the gym in the evening for whatever reason, I'll have an hour at work if I want. So it's pretty easy for me to make time for it. An average day, at least at this space, is a little bit different than others, just because our only response is crash response. We don't respond to other things like we did Edmonton. So it's a lot more quiet for us. So, you know, like any other shift, we do our truck checks, get up to speed what's happening on base in the hall. We can do building maintenance, which is like fire prevention stuff, fire alarm testing, and some training for whatever our prescribed training is for the month to keep us on track for throughout the year. I don't think it makes the competition feel any smaller. If anything, the amount of competing I've done in strength sports over the last 10 years now, it just felt like another competition. It just was on a bigger stage. So I didn't really, put too much thought into the significance of winning something like that until after the fact. Nothing that's made me think that I can't continue with it. Had pretty minimal injuries throughout my strongman career. If anything, I get injured doing other things that make me question if I'll be ready for the next competition or like my long-term progression will be on track for where I want it to be. But as far as injuries with strongman, I haven't really had any besides like a pulled muscle or something here and there, but it's really nothing too serious. I don't think it's really changed my professional life. It's kind of an interesting feeling going from such a high of competing on a stage like that and then going back to regular life the following week. So it was more of an emotional roller coaster than I was expecting. But after, a week or so, I kind of like settled back into my routine and I'm like, all right, back to normal life. So nothing has changed too much really. At the time of the injury was, I think last spring, so like spring of 2025, I think. I was just at jiu-jitsu and a guy fell on my ankle and I heard a snap. So, and there was immediate swelling and like I couldn't put weight on it. So my whole like season kind of flashed before my eyes because I wasn't sure if I broke my foot or not. Ended up being fine. So that would have affected my goal of like winning nationals and competing at Worlds kind of thing. That would have then affected the Arnold, right? But that worked out pretty well. And my goals right now, just do a few local competitions. I've got Worlds coming up at the end of the year and go back to the Arnolds for 2027. I think most of my nerves come before the first event. Just because it's more of an anxious feeling that you want to just get that first event out of the way and get comfortable. Because sometimes the atmosphere might be a little uncomfortable with like the crowded back room, lots of noise. It's sometimes they're not always chairs. So you're just getting that first event out of the way, and you feel good, and then it kind of like primes your body for the rest of the events. You kind of just can relax, and you kind of just get into a groove for the competition, if that makes sense. I don't have anybody program for me. All the programming's on me. I'll pick the brain of people around me if I'm kind of like want a different perspective on event training, or like I'll ask my wife for something specific because she kind of approaches training differently than I do. So I'll just like kind of take tidbits of information from people around me and then do my own reading and experience from my training and put it all together. And this is what I got. I basically assess where my body's at. I work within my limits, and I build a progression to get back to where I need to be based around that injury. Oh yeah, there's been stressful ones. A lot of it can be medical scenarios, right? Highway accidents, medical calls for mental health, those kind of situations. It can be quite stressful. There's a lot of unknown, a lot of factors to consider there. But it's what you train for, right? So you can't just do what you know and do your best to make their day better. Oh yeah, I know it's not a sport that a lot of people find appealing, but I'll kind of joke that if they want to like compete or like train. And I've put out feelers to host a competition on the base. So I've been trying to work something out with the staff on base there to host something for military members, to try and grow the sport and kind of develop some community that way. So we'll see how that goes. When things are tough, they won't always be tough. So you just have to endure it, make the best of it, and come out on top. I have people ask me what motivates me, and for the longest time, I just kind of like have an answer. Like, if you can't look at yourself and be motivated to be better, maybe make some adjustments. But not everybody works like that, to like come to learn. There's intrinsic, extrinsic types of motivation. But at the end of the day, what I find most motivating is getting up to what I think my potential is, or surpassing it. So when I started this sport, I never thought I would be, a competitive person on a world stage, right? I kind of just started, one thing at a time. Eventually, more opportunities came, and that kind of thing is pretty motivating. Try something new. You never know where it's going to take you.